The Stardust Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas opened in 1958 and was one of the most iconic symbols of the Rat Pack era. It had a massive neon sign shaped like a starburst and featured a space-age theme with one of the largest casinos in the world at the time. For decades, it hosted legendary performers like the Rat Pack and Siegfried and Roy. The Stardust was demolished in 2007, and the site sat empty for years. Today, the site is part of the new Resorts World Las Vegas, which opened in 2021 with luxury amenities and a more modern corporate feel, replacing the mid-century charm of the Stardust era. Wall Arch in Arches National Park, Utah, was one of the park's most photographed natural rock formations, formed over thousands of years and officially named in the 1940s. It stood more than 70 feet tall and was known for its delicate shape and perfect frame of the desert sky. In 2008, the arch unexpectedly collapsed overnight. It had shown no warning signs. Today, only fallen rubble remains, with the park using it to teach about the impermanence of natural formations. Visitors still hike to the site, but now only to view where the arch once stood. Kaimu Beach in Hawaii, located on the Big Island, was once a beloved black sand beach formed from volcanic rock, famous for its coconut palms and local surf culture. It was a popular spot for locals and tourists alike until 1990, when lava from the Kilauea eruption completely buried it. The entire area was covered under more than 50 feet of lava, and the original beach and nearby village were lost. Today, a new beach is forming slowly on the cooled lava, and new palm trees have been planted. Visitors now walk across the hardened lava fields to reach the new shoreline. Penn Station in New York City opened in 1910 as a grand Beaux-Arts train terminal with soaring ceilings, columns, and elegant steelwork. It was considered an architectural marvel and a symbol of American rail travel. By the 1960s, the station had fallen into disrepair, and in 1963, it was demolished to make way for the current Madison Square Garden, yet another iconic building that has gone through 4 versions since 1879. The current one, built in 1968, is known for hosting Knicks and Rangers games and Billy Joel concerts. Earlier versions included a rooftop garden and circus shows. While still a top venue, it has faced criticism for being outdated and for sitting atop the cramped Penn Station. Times Square in New York was first lit with electric signs in 1904 when it became the new headquarters of the New York Times. Back then, it was a busy intersection known more for horse-drawn carriages and vaudeville theaters than giant digital screens. It earned the nickname the Crossroads of the World by the 1920s, buzzing with theaters, neon lights, and crowds. Today, Times Square is a global symbol of commercial entertainment, filled with LED billboards, costumed characters, and tourist crowds. While the glitz remains, the area is now largely pedestrianized, with police presence keeping things more orderly than its grittier 1970s era. The Old Man of the Mountain in New Hampshire was a natural rock formation on Cannon Mountain, resembling a man's profile. It became the state's symbol and was featured on road signs and even the state quarter. Formed thousands of years ago, it was first written about in the early 1800s. Despite metal supports installed in the 20th century to prevent erosion, the face collapsed in 2003. Today, a memorial plaza includes profilers, steel structures that help visitors visualize how the old man once looked from the right angle. The Sutro Baths in San Francisco were opened in 1896 by Adolph Sutro as a massive glass-enclosed public swimming complex with saltwater pools, a museum, and a concert hall. At the time, it was the largest indoor swimming facility in the world. The baths declined in popularity and burned down in 1966. Today, only the concrete ruins remain, but they are a popular stop along the Land's End Trail. Visitors can walk through the remnants and imagine the grandeur that once drew thousands of people a day. Duckbill Rock on the Oregon coast was a sandstone formation in Cape Kiwanda that resembled a duck's beak. It was a favorite photo spot and naturally sculpted by the wind and sea. In 2016, it was discovered that the formation had been intentionally destroyed by vandals who claimed it was unsafe. The loss shocked many locals, and the area is now roped off to prevent further damage to the fragile landscape. The Metropolitan Opera House in New York opened at Lincoln Center in 1966 after moving from its original 1883 location. The new building was known for its arched windows, gold leaf ceiling, and iconic Marc Chagall murals. With nearly 4,000 seats, it's one of the largest opera houses in the world. While the structure remains unchanged, recent years have seen updates to its lighting, acoustics, and accessibility. The pandemic forced a long closure, but it has since reopened with a mix of traditional and modern productions to keep attracting new audiences. The Hollywood sign in Los Angeles was originally erected in 1923 as Hollywoodland to promote a new housing development. The sign was made of wood and intended to last only a few years. Over time, it became a symbol of the movie industry. The last 4 letters were removed in 1949, and the remaining letters were replaced with steel in 1978 after a fundraising campaign led by celebrities. Today, the sign is maintained by the Hollywood Sign Trust, and while it's not open to the public up close, there are now guided hikes and security patrols to protect it. The Beach Hotel in Galveston, Texas was built in 1883 and became a luxurious Victorian seaside resort. It featured wide verandas, lavish ballrooms, and was lit with gas lamps, one of the first buildings in Texas to have them. In 1898, it mysteriously caught fire and burned down completely. No trace remains of the original hotel. The area now hosts smaller hotels and beach businesses, but none have matched the grandeur or mystery of the original beach hotel, which some say was deliberately set on fire. The Hippodrome Theater in New York opened in 1905 and was once the largest theater in the world, seating over 5,000 people. It featured lavish shows including circuses, aquatic performances, and magic acts. Harry Houdini famously vanished an elephant on stage there in 1918. The theater closed in 1939 and was demolished soon after. Today, an office building occupies the site, but its name, the Hippodrome Center, still marks the location. Few people walking by would guess it was once a palace of live entertainment. The World Trade Center in New York originally opened in 1973 with its twin towers becoming symbols of American commerce and strength. Standing at 1,368 and 1,362 feet, they were the tallest buildings in the world for a brief time and housed thousands of workers. The towers were destroyed in the September 11th attacks in 2001. Today, the site is home to One World Trade Center, also known as Freedom Tower, which opened in 2014. The area includes a memorial with twin reflecting pools, a museum, and new high-rises, all built to honor the past while looking to the future. Pike Place Market in Seattle, Washington, opened in 1907 and was created to connect local farmers directly with consumers. Early on, it was a lively place filled with fishmongers, flower stalls, and produce stands. The market narrowly escaped demolition in the 1960s thanks to local activism. Today, it's one of the oldest continually operating farmers markets in the U.S. And while it still has produce and seafood, it now includes quirky shops, restaurants, and street performers. Jump Off Joe in Newport, Oregon, was a large sandstone sea stack that stood along Nye Beach and was named in the late 1800s. It was once a popular climbing spot and a romantic location for visitors. By the mid-20th century, erosion had started breaking it apart. By the 1990s, most of it had crumbled into the sea. Today, only scattered remnants remain, and the area is marked with signs and photos showing what it once looked like. The beach still draws tourists, but the natural landmark is gone. Birmingham Terminal Station in Alabama opened in 1909, and like the original Penn Station, it was a grand Beaux-Arts-style building with a massive dome, marble interiors, and sweeping staircases. It was once one of the busiest train stations in the South. Declining rail use after World War II led to its closure, and despite public opposition, it was demolished in 1969. Today, the site is occupied by a parking lot and federal building. Nothing remains of the original structure except for photographs and a few salvaged architectural details. Central Park in New York was first opened in 1858, designed by Frederick Law Olmsted and Calvert Vaux as a natural escape from the growing city. In the early years, it featured carriage paths, boating lakes, and open lawns. By the 1970s, it had fallen into decline due to budget cuts and neglect, but a major revitalization effort in the 1980s brought it back. Today, Central Park is cleaner and safer, with restored bridges, gardens, and active cultural programming. The original sheep meadow is now used for sunbathing and picnics instead of grazing animals. The Wawona tree in Yosemite was a giant sequoia with a tunnel cut through it in 1881 to attract tourists. At 227 feet tall and over 2,000 years old, it became one of the park's most famous photo ops. The tree fell during a snowstorm in 1969 due to natural causes. Cutting the tunnel had weakened its structure. Today, the fallen trunk remains in place. Yosemite no longer permits carving trees, and nearby sequoias are now protected from such alterations. The Hollywood Walk of Fame in Los Angeles began in 1960, with the first star awarded to actress Joanne Woodward. Designed to honor achievements in film, TV, radio, and later music and theater, the stars quickly became a major tourist attraction. Originally, 1,558 stars were placed. Today, there are over 2,700, and the process has become more promotional and expensive. Celebrities must now pay a fee for installation. Despite this, the sidewalk along Hollywood Boulevard continues to draw millions annually, though the area has seen issues with crowds and homelessness in recent years. The Jeffrey Pine in Yosemite's Sentinel Dome was one of the most photographed trees in the park. It grew out of the granite dome and appeared in Ansel Adams' 1940s black and white photos. The pine had stood for over 400 years, but died during a drought in the 1970s and finally toppled in 2003. Surprisingly, the twisted fallen trunk still lies where it fell and remains a photo stop for hikers. While the tree is gone, the dome continues to offer panoramic views of Yosemite Valley. Midway Gardens in Chicago opened in 1914 and was a stylish entertainment complex designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. It featured geometric sculptures, gardens, music pavilions, and performance spaces. Despite its beauty, the garden struggled financially and closed in 1929. It was demolished shortly afterward, and the site is now a parking lot. Most of the original sculptures were destroyed, although a few were preserved in museums. The short life of Midway Gardens is now considered one of the great architectural losses of Chicago. Cypress Gardens in Winter Haven, Florida, opened in 1936 and became one of the country's first theme parks. It was known for its southern bells, water ski shows, and botanical gardens. It attracted millions before being overshadowed by Disney World. After closing in 2003, parts of it were incorporated into Legoland, Florida, which opened in 2011. Today, the original gardens have been preserved inside the park, and the water ski shows continue, but now with Lego-themed performers. The mix of old and new keeps a little of the original charm alive. Yellowstone National Park, while mostly in Wyoming, also extends into Idaho and Montana. Established in 1872, it was the first national park in the world, created to protect its geysers, wildlife, and geothermal features. Early visitors had to travel by wagon, and park rangers were often soldiers. Today, Yellowstone draws millions annually and has paved roads, lodges, and conservation efforts that balance access with protection. The park faces new challenges from climate change, but it remains largely intact and continues to showcase much of the same natural beauty it did over 150 years ago. The Singer Building in New York opened in 1908 as the headquarters of the Singer Sewing Machine Company. At 612 feet, it was the tallest building in the world for a short time. Its red dome and copper spire made it one of the city's most distinctive early skyscrapers. In 1968, it was demolished to make way for a more modern office tower, making it the tallest building ever purposefully torn down. Today, the site is home to One Liberty Plaza, a dark glass skyscraper with little of the original flair of the Singer Building.